Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it is Sunday, so time for our Soul Sunday broadcast. For those of you who might be new to the broadcast, we do 3 a week. 2 on Friday, 1 at lunchtime Pacific time, which we call our skills broadcast, where we try and learn something. And then we do another one at 7 o'clock on Friday evening, which is our laughter one. We normally start by laughing and then end up talking about other stuff. And then this one on a Sunday, which we call our Soul Sunday, where we sort of, just calm it down a bit, ready for the coming week. So what I wanted to make sure that you knew, we're all about coping with love, with life, with any other problems that come along. And that's exactly how we do what we do. So I just want to make sure that we are on track here. Sorry, I just... Uh-oh. I think I clicked the wrong button. There we go. All right, so there we are. Hi, Jody. Anyway, so there's the horrible feeling where you click a button and go, what happened to the broadcast? I'm certain I'm the only one that's ever done that. Anyway, so welcome to my world. And it was so funny because one of the things that I hadn't realized is just... I haven't got the right tea towels out. I've only got one tea towel. I must have put the others in the wash. That messes with my... For those of you who are OCD, you will understand totally. Hang on, I'm going to fix that. Now, some of you are probably saying, that's insane. Why go to that trouble? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is looking after ourselves. If I watched the whole of the broadcast and didn't see the right setup there, it would distract me for the whole broadcast. Do any of you relate to that? So better that I just go and fix it right now, and then I'll be okay. The fact they're not quite straight, of course, is an OCD thing. It looks good. Thank you very much, Jody. And Jody, did you see I've actually got a little red bottle there too? So I wanted to talk a little bit today about self-care. And the reason is because I have been saying in the last few broadcasts how sore my feet are. And some of you will have noticed that. And I thought that what I was doing was something wrong with the way that I was walking or whatever. Hi there, Rare. And so, but what I realize now is I think I have plantar fasciitis, if anybody knows what that is. And that is where the bottom part of the foot has a tendon or ligament going through it. And when that gets bruised or damaged, you get an awful lot of pain. And that is what I have got going on at the moment. And the good news is I had a chat with Cisco. For those of you who know my son Cisco, who is in Toronto, he and I chatted this morning, thank goodness, and he gave me a lot of things to do. And the first thing was he told me to take some meds. It was just like, have you taken something for the pain? And I'm going, well, I don't like to do it. So take something for the pain. I went, okay, fine. So then, but also he was giving me a lot of good input on that. So that is great. So I thought, well, maybe I'm not the only one that's not looking after themselves as well. For those of you who don't know, I'm in the process of moving. I am leaving a house that I've lived in for 20 years, about 15 minutes away, and moving everything into this house. And at the moment, this house is, except for what you see in the kitchen, this house is basically empty. Other than the kitchen being fairly set up, I have a futon in here and a chair from the patio and a little table from the patio. My Wi-Fi is obviously working, as is my television. So basically I'm camping. And I have 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, I will wish that I had this back again. Because in 2 weeks' time, all the furniture and all the boxes will arrive, whether I'm ready for them or not. So it's really important that for the next few weeks, I not only do what needs to be done, but that I look after myself a lot better. Otherwise, I'm not going to be strong enough to do what I have to do on February the 8th. So I thought we'd spend a little bit of time, and maybe some of you can relate to this as well. You will have fun decorating. Yes, Groovy, how did you find us, by the way? Good to meet you. And maybe let us know if you want to, male, female, rough age group, what decade. As you may know, I'm from southern British Columbia in Canada. And I'll let Jodie introduce herself to you as well. The decorating part is pretty well under control here, I think. It's just a case of placement. Where am I going to put everything? That's my big challenge. So Audre Lorde said, I have come to believe that caring for myself is not self-indulgent. Caring for myself is an act of survival. How many of you have noticed that when you start looking after yourself better, everything gets better? It's amazing because to me, I have been aiming to put in so many steps a day while I'm doing this move process. And I am shocked. I have doubled the steps that I do in a month already. And I still have days to go. So, that's pretty amazing. And, even last night, I was, my feet were pretty sore. And I thought, I haven't got enough steps in, and I'm trying to lose weight at the same time. So what do I want to do about this? Do I want to do something? And I said, I want to go and get some fresh air because it wasn't raining. And again, I would mention this kitchen is this bright without any light. And I say without any light, I have got a Diva light here, but in terms of the actual kitchen, you can't really see because of the cupboard doors, but in terms of the actual kitchen area, which, is pretty big, because you can't see the rest of this workspace here and then the fridge. But I don't have a light on. I can't tip it that far. And it's just amazing to me. You look at my channel all the time and you live in Baltimore. Well, isn't that wonderful? Why do you look at my channel all the time, may I ask? I love meeting people. I've met so many people who've said to me, I've been watching for months or years or whatever, and I'm going, how come I never saw your name before? And they go, well, I just enjoy it. I go, okay. You're 555 years old, Rare. That's rare. Very rare and very groovy. And you will fit right in here. We all have that problem. And thank you for making me smile today. I appreciate that. By the way, I wanted to say, before we get into the too many quotes, it's Erin's birthday today, so let's wish her a very happy birthday if you haven't done so already. And we've got Becca's coming up on the 28th. Some of you may know that as well. We are like an extended family of people here, so we do care about one another. I want to tell you that in this house right now, you can't see it, but over in this area, I have my slow cooker going. And In there, I have a roast of turkey breast, a roll. What do you call it? You know what I mean. And not a whole turkey, just a big roll like this of white meat. And I have got coming to see me this evening the daughter of the lady who lived in this house, and unfortunately, just as they finished the renovation for her, she got terminal cancer and never really got to enjoy it. And I really loved the family when I met them. And I have mail for the family. So I said to the daughter, you know, if you want to come and pick up mail, I'll cook you dinner. So, but what I did, and I don't know if any of you can relate to this, what I did was I went out into the garden. She's got, she really loved having an herb garden, and she's got this beautiful herb garden that has survived the snow. And I literally went out. Um, I literally went out just now and I cut off 2 sprigs of rosemary, and the whole of my kitchen smells has that beautiful, pungent aroma of rosemary. So, but what I did is I put a little bit into the turkey that's slow cooking. You know, I stripped off some of the leaves and put it in with the turkey because I wanted her. I wanted her mommy to be with us, if that makes any sense to anybody other than me. And so I also know that I will make sure. Hi, Tal, good to see you. I will also, and say hi to Rare, who is 550 years old from Baltimore. So I want her to know that if she needs a mother, she's got one here. You know what I mean? Because I think we all need that. And for those of us who have lost a family member, and we've got viewers that have recently, I think it's really important for them to know sometimes you can adopt a family member rather than, you know, if you lose one, you can adopt one. Yeah, Ray, you mustn't give me opportunities like that because I definitely will pick up on them. You know that. If you've been watching for a while, you know that. So I like this quote. This one came from Maya Angelou, and she said, as you grow older, you will discover you have 2 hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others. How many of you can see that cooking dinner for, her name is Sonia, cooking dinner for Sonia is as much a gift to me as it is a meal for her. I'm used to cooking Sunday dinners, and I'm in my new house away from the people I used to cook for. So to me, you know, I actually get to continue my tradition. And I was thinking I might start putting up a notice at, you know, where the post boxes are here. I might start putting up notices that go on tonight's menu, roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. I have 2 spaces available if anybody's hungry. You know, and I thought, I wonder how many people would pick up on that and come to dinner. No, I know what you're saying, Sal. You don't know who's going to pitch up. But you know, I'm in a small community of people, and I did something really naughty the other day. When was it? Oh, it was yesterday. I actually went out to the post box when it was dark, and what I did was I took a little bit of a tour around the neighborhood because it was dark. People had their lights on, so when people have their lights on, you can see a lot more into, you know, how their setups are. I couldn't see. I was surprised. I think I was the only unit that's been renovated. So, or the rest of them all have very old furniture in them. Yes, they look very dark with dark furniture and stuff. So I'm going, oh gosh, I'm going to cause a real scene. Because as you guys know, all my furniture is very light and bright. Anyway, we'll see what I can do. Deborah Day said, nourishing yourself in a way that helps you blossom in the direction that you want to go is attainable. And you are worth the effort. How many of you, can understand what she's saying? That, you are worth looking after. And if you continue to look after yourself, I don't know what it is that you have or have not done this week to look after yourself. I know that what I did was I said, I am taking the weekend off from packing up boxes and moving stuff here. I already had 7 boxes, or cubies rather, because I'm carrying cubies. By the way, those cubies are awesome to move with. Let me just get one so you know. Now, I picked mine up at the local grocery store week by week. I collected them, and I have so many of them now. But these are brilliant to move with. Why? Any more than fits in here is probably more than you want to be carrying. And you can have 2 of them and walk down a flight of stairs safely because you can see the stairs. And I was absolutely amazed how much I can get into one of these. Jody's saying they'll be making renovation plans after they visit my place. The interior decorators in the area are about to have an influx of work. Well, it isn't really that I have, my furniture is not fancy, Jody. And, it's funny but it will fit in here beautifully. I had to laugh because even the fireplace, which you guys will see, even the fireplace is made of stone. And as some of you will have seen, my dining room table stands on 2 stone pillars. It has a glass tabletop with stone pillars, and then each pillar has 3 stone balls. Unusual, right? But, so I kept looking at that fireplace and going, if I had done this to fit my furniture, I would have done the fireplace like that. Do you know what I mean? And so that's why when I walked in here, I went, this is, I need to move here, but it didn't make any sense economically. That was the funny thing. But everything told me that I needed to move in here. It was meant to be, right? Jody was reminding me, right? What did I want? I wanted light. What did I want? I wanted no garden. What did I want? I wanted storage. What did I want? And I kept going down the list and going, it's all here. But I don't own the land. And it's like, yeah, but if you went and bought an apartment, you wouldn't own the land either. So get over it. And it's funny how these things affect us. All right, so have you done anything? Let me ask you guys, have you done anything this week to look after yourself? I gave myself 2 days off. I gave myself the whole of yesterday to unpack those 7 loads that I brought with me, the whole of yesterday. And literally what I did was I rested a bit, and then once an hour I would get up and go and move. So what I did was I put these cubies, like if this was one of the ones for the kitchen, it just stayed in the kitchen. And every time I came into the kitchen, I took a couple of things out and put it away, but I didn't make a big deal of it. And by the end of the day, all the cubies were empty. Yay. So what have you done? Jody, I know that you've certainly done some things this week to look after yourself. All right, so Jody made, listen to this one. Oh, hang on a second. First of all, Tal saying, I rested all day yesterday. I am so grateful. Yeah, but doesn't it feel self-indulgent? You see, and that is the problem. It feels, I'll pick it up in a minute. It's okay. It feels self-indulgent, but it isn't. It's smart. And I don't know if any of you relate to this, but every now and then I kept saying to myself, yeah, and I know other people that on the seventh day they rested, really, you can do this. You're allowed to have a day off. So Jody made sugar-free truffles yesterday, just for a treat. Not just for the treat, but also for the enjoyment of the process. Yeah. So that's the thing with me and cooking Sunday dinners, I realize, was I'm going to have to keep inviting people for dinner. That's all there is to it, because I like to cook Sunday dinner. Now, Jody came up with a really great idea, and I'm certain that some of you will like this. She suggested that I start doing some videos on dining on a dime. And so what I did, Jody, was as I went to unwrap the turkey roll that I have, I took a picture of how much it cost in Canadian, and I'll convert it when I do the video. But what I'm going to do is actually show you how many meals I get out of it. Ah, that's awesome. Hi, Jean. It's always pleasant to see you. York's daughter and baby are here from England, so we took them out for brunch. Isn't that fun to do? And, you're also on the East Coast, I think, if I remember correctly. I think you're in Maine almost. Anyway, that's my idea. Yeah, so Tal, that's what, and if you like the idea, thank Jody, because she came up with it. And what I wanted to show you is what one or two people can get out of, people say, oh, I don't get a roast because it's so expensive. What I wanted to show you is why getting a roast is really economical. And that is because, you can do so much with it after you've cooked it. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to see how many meals I can get out of, just I think it's about this big. And obviously I will do for one person, but it'll be interesting to see, how many, if we have that, how two people would eat off that. And obviously I'm starting with two people having the first meal. Learning to love yourself is like learning to walk. It's true, isn't it? Essential, life-changing, and the only way to stand tall. Let me read that again. Learning to love yourself is like learning to walk. Essential, life-changing, and the only way to stand tall. Now, one of the interesting things that I heard from Cisco about my feet being so sore is he said, I need to go off to the local store where they sell Birkenstocks and stop walking around inside my house with flip-flops and bare feet, or one or the other. And he said, you need to get yourself a good pair of Birkenstocks, and you can get the rubber ones so they're not noisy. But he said that will help your feet immensely. And I thought that's a good idea. Then, do any of you relate to this? Then there's that other bit of me that goes, well, I'd have to take time out to go and do that. And I'm not sure. And I'm going, you need to go get those shoes. If you want to help your feet, you need to go get those shoes. And I need to get ibuprofen, otherwise known as ibuprofen. I can't even think of the right name anymore. I've called it ibuprofen for so long. Ibuprofen, right? Profen. All right, so Jane's saying that York's daughter always tries to care for others and ignores herself. I told her to take care of herself first. Hi, Nada. I am sorry you're not well today. You were allowed to listen in as quietly as you like. And we're sending you a hug and hope you're feeling better. Is it contagious type sick, or is it just you're not feeling up to much? None of my business, but you know I'm going to ask. So C. Joy Bell C., that we have quoted quite a few times, said, "The only person who can pull me down is myself. And I'm not going to let myself pull me down anymore." Wow, isn't that wise? Right? And do you agree that the only person who's going to pull you up is yourself? And that is why even though I wasn't feeling very well, I said, I'm going to go out and just walk down to the post boxes because I need some fresh air. Oh, Nada, I'm sorry that you're not doing well. I'm glad you got a doctor's appointment. That's looking after yourself. Well done. Take it easy on yourself, right? You know something, Nada? I have a feeling you are about to turn a major corner in your life. I think you've had enough of this, right? That my sense is, there is that time, and I've been in that place where you just go, I've had enough of this. Time for me to get on with my life now. And it's funny because when I did that, my life changed. I think about Jody. And Jody, when I first met her, was definitely not in a good space at all. And I'm amazed at how she just decided to start living, regardless of what was going on. Now, listen to this, Jean saying, don't let others harm you. If they feel angry and lash out, do not interact with the negatives. Absolutely. I had that happen today where I heard a story about a toxic mother-in-law. And, what I said is, the trick with people who are toxic is not to interact with them. I quite agree with you. All right. Anybody that is that negative or whatever, they get their jollies by controlling you or pushing you over. So if you just don't bother to interact, and if you haven't seen, I really, really recommend it. If you haven't seen Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks, the Mr. Rogers story, it is worth seeing to see how he deals with people with negative. It is mind-blowing to watch what he does. And I'm really looking forward to it coming out on Netflix or something so that I can watch it and rewind it and do all the things I wanted to do because there was so much in there if you wanted to learn. Yeah, you also saw it, Jane, right? It definitely is I would say it's a classic. It's starting right now. It's like one of those ones that we'll all need to watch time and time again to remind ourselves. I'm not sure who said this, but here is the quote. An empty lantern provides no light. Self-care is the fuel that allows your light to shine brightly. So how many of you know that you give from a vacuum? You're so busy giving to everybody else that you don't have enough time to give to yourself. And I look at these things and go, if I don't have time to look after myself, what makes me think I've got the time to look after other people? So one of the interesting things I find about being here with you guys is that I have to remind myself, am I practicing what I preach? And I can tell you there are a number of times when I have to give myself a 2x4 because it's like, really, and what have you done about that? Alexandra L. said, be you, love you, always, always. In other words, in all ways, always. Isn't that beautiful? And how about this one? Do something nice for yourself today. Find some quiet, sit in stillness, breathe, put your problems on pause. You deserve a break. I've got to tell you, some of you have seen me take a picture of it before, but in my room that will be my art studio, it's the strangest thing. If I stand there, there is a hedge out, again, almost against it, maybe 4 foot away from it. There is this hedge. And if I just stand there quietly, like having a Zen moment, birds come. And it's like a lot of birds come. You have to really be still for them to start coming back. But it is amazing. I can stand there and I keep thinking to myself, I've got a private aviary, right? I literally, outside my one window, I have got an aviary. Now, how many of you know how relaxing it is to watch birds? If you've ever owned a bird, it's really relaxing to watch them. And I stand there and I look at them and I think, yeah, exactly, Jody, that is so cool. Awesome cool. So what I want to start practicing is to go in there and just stand there for a while every day, just to take in that Zen moment, if you like. And I know that it's amazing. And so to me, it's like there are things about this place that are really, I have no idea why I have to be here. But I know that I was meant to move here. And I'm waiting. I believe I will find out, but I have no idea right now. By the way, when I was talking to Cisco today, he said to me, I said something about having the phones, and he also said I need to get Alexa, or the Google equivalent of it, because he said it's a really important thing at your age, that you need to be able to call from any room and get help. Well, Jean, it was funny, isn't it? Because if have you been there for the whole journey watching me do this? Because the peculiar thing is, if you look at this place, looks the same, and it's actually the same model, make, and everything else as the very first one that I saw. That was the peculiar thing. That's why I've continued to call it Sunshine Cottage, because it is what it is, right? But the difference is the kitchen is way better. And the rest of the rooms are way better. So to me, it was like I needed to find this place, and we will find out if there's more to it. I have a deep sense of purpose here. I wonder if that makes sense. I really do feel there's a reason why I'm here, but I just don't know what it is yet. And you'll all remind me when I go, gosh, isn't that amazing? You'll go, yep, that's why you have to go there. Confucius said, if you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? And that is something that I really have been working hard at. I found that because my intellect has always said buy something and own the ground you're on, because it's the ground that has the value, not the property. And you can imagine how my brain was beating up on myself for so long about, yeah, but you've just bought something and you don't own the land. And I had to stop and say, why are you doing this to yourself? You don't even know if you're going to be alive in a year's time. Enjoy it. And, let it go. Because, and then I had to remind myself, if I'd bought an apartment, I wouldn't have owned the land either. So let me just enjoy what I've got. And have far more room than I would have in an apartment, and far more light and all those sort of things. And in an apartment, would I be able to go out and pick rosemary from the herb garden? Oh, it's interesting. Jody's saying your new home is even more beautiful than what I had dared to dream it would be. And believe me, I had some grand dreams. Oh, isn't that nice of you? I really appreciate that. Yeah, kibbutz folks own land in common. Yes, that's right. I have a friend of mine who lives in a kibbutz. And, I love talking to her about how they do that. It's amazing. Yeah. Listen to this one. Self-care is how you take your power back. Have any of you found that already? That just stopping long enough to look after you is about, I have the power to do that. I choose to do that. When you can choose to look after you, that means you have control. If you're always trying to make time for everybody else, but not for you, that's not self-control. And 9 times out of 10, that's people-pleasing in some way. So I thought that was really a nice quote. This quote is beautiful, and it comes from Madonna. She said, I am my own experiment. I am my own work of art. I am my own experiment, and I am my own work of art. I struggled a lot this week, and I'm always interested in your input. But I can bring my furniture into my living room, dining room, and have it look fairly nice and tidy and neat and cared for. And then that the craft room is open, right? It doesn't have a door on it. So I'm very seriously thinking of just putting all the boxes into what is the 2 bedrooms and just keep the crud in those 2 bedrooms until I have time to sort them. Now, I might do it in a very creative way. I've really been looking at this and going, how can I get creative about this? Yeah, God made us all unique. I quite agree. Anyway, so here's what I was thinking. I have this really quite large bedroom. And so my bed would be here, and then this is my bathroom coming off here. But I was thinking, I could put 2 rows of boxes, even at the foot of the bed, and bring them up 2 or 3 boxes high and cover them. If they are boxes that I know are going to go pretty quickly, I'm going to empty them pretty quickly because they are stuff that I would want to have emptied. Do you understand what I'm saying? I just make a little wall there, and it's just like, yeah, I can handle that. And then, I can do the same in, make a little wall in, I think the studio is going to end up being full of boxes for quite a while. because as long as I can see what's in it, I can get to them and still paint. How many of you know I'm going to end up painting here, don't you? Big tarp over here, big painting. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that. I've got to do a test run with the floor to see. I've noticed that they did actually drip some paint on the floor in the living room area. Well, actually, it's going to be the dining room area there. And so I need to just go there with my credit card and see whether it lifts off the same way as it did with the other flooring that I had. But I still have to say, I want to tell you, perfect for everything, Jody. The only thing is quartz. Do any of you know anything about quartz countertops? Because I believe that they are the most susceptible to being stained. And I notice on here, there's already one place where it looks like somebody must have had lemon juice or something on the bottom of their cup. There is one place there, but I'm pretty sure that I can fix that with my, you know, that high gloss stuff I have for my artwork. I'm thinking I'm going to take a very thin brush and just quietly paint a little bit of that high gloss on there and see if it fixes it, because I think it will. So I don't know enough about quartz. I haven't done the research yet, and I'm certain that some of you will know about it, because quartz is different, right? For some reason. I don't know why. Quartz is composite rather than natural, isn't it? I know. Yeah, Jody's saying, I'm not familiar with quartz. We got Formica here. You know something, but I want to tell you, isn't it amazing how long Formica lasts? No, really, I mean, all jokes aside, when you think about it, Formica is incredibly long-lasting. I want to tell you, if I had been able to continue to live in my other home, I would have started to paint the countertops. You know that. I was so close to doing it. Even while I was there, I'm going, I could do that. But you know, even this it's amazing. I look at it and I go, wow, yeah, who wouldn't want to wake up and see this in the morning? You know, because it really is something. Yes, Jody, I understand about kneading bread here, and also, you know, this is great for having a Scrabble game or something like that as well. You know what I mean? It's just a really great surface. Now, I've got a pretty big dining room table as well. So, but by the time I've got my glass dining room table here, this place is going to look. Never mind. By the way, do any of you know that if you want to have free paint, did I talk to you about this? If any of you ever want to have totally free paint, you know how to get it. Especially if you want to do gray. You know, if you go to any recycling place where they accept paint, what they do is they put all the paint colors together and it will end up gray. I've learned that from being an artist. You know, if I throw all the odds and ends of my my paints together, I will end up with gray. And I kept saying, this makes a great thing. You know, I should just keep this and keep my house gray so that I can keep touching it up and repainting. And that is literally what I'm going to do here, because guess what? They have painted a lot of these walls gray, and I know why. They got free paint. All right, so Jodie's done a little bit of research there, which I'm not surprised at. She said engineered quartz is a composite. There is also quartzite, which is a natural stone. I think I got the engineered one. I think they huck it all in and mold it in some way. You know, they compress it all together. This looks way too structured. Yeah, because when it's natural, it doesn't have a structure to it, almost a pattern. This definitely looks like it's all sorts of different chips that were thrown in and then bonded. But it's beautiful. You see, that actually is not a piece of dirt. That is a sparkly thing. It's got sparklies in it too. All right, so how about this one? Jody, think about this one. She says, put yourself at the top of your to-do list every single day, and the rest will fall into place. So let me think about this. And how about you guys think about it? Let's talk about it right now. If you were going to put yourself at the top of your to-do list tomorrow, what one thing would you do? Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that one, Jody. What one thing would you do? Let's see what answers we get. I would go and get the shoes, because obviously that's important. So on my way to get the next load tomorrow, I need to divert and go get those shoes. And stop in at the pharmacy and get some ibuprofen. Okay. Now, if I come back tomorrow with shoes and ibuprofen, you will know that I looked after myself first. And in fact, I'll even do the vlog around it. So Jody's saying if she were to look after herself first tomorrow, she would spend 30 minutes meditating in the morning before starting the to-do list. So you're a smart cookie, Jody. What stops you from doing that? I understand your little fluff ball with 4 legs and a waggly tail probably is part of that. So where are you going to meditate that you're not disturbed by that? Because I don't, my experience of having a dog is once they know you're awake, it's open season, right? So that is an interesting, because that requires that you do a little bit of thinking around that. Anybody else, what would you do if you looked after yourself first and put yourself at the top of your to-do list tomorrow? What one thing would you do? That's a great question. Jody's saying I do meditate, but most times I do it when I'm already stressed. My intention is to start the day on a peaceful note. Jody, have you ever read The Artist's Way? Oh, that's interesting. Ned is saying staying in bed would work because my dog leaves me alone when I'm in bed. That's a very good point, Ned. So, the thing is to meditate before you get out of bed. Okay, Jody, you can Google it, The Artist's Way, The Way of the Artist, right? The Artist's Way. It is a very interesting book. And what it says basically is write for so many pages a day. I can't remember what the number is. And I think you would find a lot of value in that. And it's online and you can download the PDF for free if you want to. It must be somewhere because I managed to find it. Oh, Jean's saying that when you were fasting, I was worried you were getting a bit faint. Is that me or Jody? Jean, just so I know who you were worried about. I must admit, Jane, that when I heard Jody tell me about fasting to start with. I also worried about her. But now that I'm doing it, I have to tell you the surprising thing is, I only plan to do 12 hours today, I think. And I think I did, no, let me think. I think I did 15 or something. So the thing is that what I thought about fasting and what it actually is was, two completely different things. Because if you're doing it consistently, you don't feel faint. That's the peculiar thing. Or I don't anyway. Any minute now, I'm going to find my fasts. Or not. Ugh, I can't find it right now. But the strange thing is that if you're eating better and fasting and eating better, it actually, you end up feeling better than you do than if you're waking up in the morning, having breakfast and doing the usual thing. All right, so listen to this. So Beth's saying if she could get certain information from her daughter, she could get a taxes filed and then she could spend the rest of the day looking after herself. Yeah, you know something though, Beth, I applaud you for letting her keep the paperwork, even if she isn't good at it yet. It's one step of showing you trust her to be able to start looking after herself. Please, 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 please remember that, all right? You taught her in a way to be so dependent on you. And the trick is to show her she is more than capable. Somebody said that my mother always says people should be able to take care of themselves, even if they are rich and important. And talking about being rich and important, so sad to hear that Kobe Bryant and his daughter were killed today. It was just amazing. They were in a helicopter and it crashed. And it is just like, we don't know, how much life we have left. And I would encourage you all to please remember to keep living each day, not I'll do this next year or whatever, because we don't know if we have next year. And I thought it was a really good wake-up call, not that anybody would want it, but a good wake-up call. Somebody with all Kobe Bryant's money and fame gone in a split second because the helicopter crashed. And not only did he lose his life, but so did his daughter. And the only thing I could think about, and I know that's strange, but I kept thinking, I bet you he spent what time he had trying to make his daughter feel safe under the circumstances, as best he could. And how difficult must that have been? Yes, we did start off, Jane, by wishing Erin a happy birthday, and we will continue to do that. And we got Becca's coming up the day after tomorrow, I believe. Maureen Joyce Connolly said, practice self-rescue first before you help someone else. All right, think about that. Practice self-rescue before you help someone else. So what if every time you think I really need to go and do X, Y, and Z for so-and-so, or I really need to do phone so-and-so because they need some support, you go, well, before I do that, what have I done for myself? What have I done for myself today? Did I have myself at the top of the list? And Beth saying, breathe, I'm about to go over to my daughter's house and give her a few choice words. I hope those choice words will be, I love you. And where the other forms. Yeah, I want to tell you something. I could not believe that I went out into that herb garden and just picked these 2 sprigs of rosemary, and I brought it back into the kitchen, and I went, well, not only does it help in what I'm cooking, but it smells so good in the kitchen now. And I'm going, I definitely going to continue. I also found Italian parsley. Not quite sure why that's different from normal parsley. Does anybody know? But I know it's Italian. There's a little sticker that says that. I can read. And I'm going, why is that different from normal parsley? Anybody know? I know what you're saying. It's well traveled, Sal. Yeah, I understand that. Francis Ryan said, self-care has become a new priority. The revelation that it's perfectly permissible to listen to your own body and do what it needs. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to literally chopping the bottom off a celery, a bunch of celery, and just walking over to the garden and planting it. It's funny. It's like, I know I'm going to start doing that. Have any of you ever just literally taken, tomatoes that you've bought in the store and then just use those tomatoes as seeds to grow your own? Because that's what they say you can do. Eleanor Brown said, rest and self-care are so important. When you take the time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. It's so true, isn't it? And Steve Miraboli, who we quote every Sunday, said, the most powerful relationship you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. Oh, right. I didn't know that. Thank you, Jody. So for everybody that wondered what Italian parsley is, Jody, of course, has the answer. Italian parsley is the flat leaf one, and it has a more robust flavor than the curly one. You're quite right. It does. It looks almost like cilantro. Somehow, that's how flat the leaf is. Yeah, you're right, Jody. It does. I'll go and pick some. And Beth is saying, the words will be, I love you, but you have to get organized. And, not but, and. Well, that's interesting because obviously I'm going to learn a lot, and so are you guys, because I'm pretty sure you're going to want me to show you pictures. I actually will. I'm not sure if I took a picture of the rosemary growing. I think I did when it was snowing. I said, I think that's rosemary sticking out there, but it is incredibly hardy. I mean, it was minus 12 and it's still there. That's pretty amazing. Mind you, so was the Italian parsley. It didn't look didn't look like it was going to run any marathons. The color was a bit off, but it was still there. Now, for those of you who are wondering about Origina, the orange tree, I will be doing weekly updates on her. I'm every bit of research. I've become an expert at orange trees in the last week or so. Every bit of research that I did said that once they go into that sort of shock, all their leaves will fall. So I took all the leaves off it anyway because they were just there. And they just said keep not watering it very much, but because you don't want to, I didn't know that. Did you know that the only time a plant really uses water is when it's budding and growing leaves? So if it's dormant, which mine is now, it's gone into shock, it won't be pulling up water through the roots as much. Did you know that? I've learned a lot. And so what they said is just to, well, they didn't say keep talking to it, but, I talk to her every day. And I keep saying, Regina, it's really important to me that you survive this shock because I will never forgive myself for not knowing that you were real when I thought you were fake. And that's why you ended up staying out in minus 12-degree temperatures. And then I brought you into 70-degree heat. You know. And it's no wonder you went into shock, honey. I do have this conversation with her every day. And I keep saying, please, 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 live. All right, so how about that? Beth's saying, just like humans, if we go into shock, our immune system goes down and we get sick and go, yeah, we do. We pick up diseases much more easily. Yeah, I quite agree. I quite agree. That's why I always say to people, if you've had anything that invades your body, be that an injection or, something that for some reason, be aware, you've had a tooth pulled or whatever, be aware that your body went into shock, and is trying to keep you alive. Yeah, good point, Beth. Thank you. Kristen Neff said, when we give ourselves compassion, we are opening our hearts in a way that can transform our lives. So again, I would ask, are you as compassionate to yourself as you would have other people be? If not, it's a double standard. Oh, interesting. Jean's saying she got a pedicure, and the best part was a leg and foot massage. Yeah. And I think it's probably something that I should start seeing not as a luxury, but important. That it's very important for me to look after my feet. Now, one of the things that Cisco was telling me is to actually literally take ice and rub the heel. Just massage, use ice, but as a massage tool, to not only work those muscles, but also the ice will help reduce the inflammation and the pain. So, it's all about what am I going to do to help myself, right? It is said that self-care is not a waste of time. Self-care makes your use of time more sustainable. Think about that. That self-care is not a waste of time. Self-care makes your use of time more sustainable. Right? So if you look after you regularly, you are regularly going to be able to give better care to others. And so I really do want us all to concentrate on this. Let's put ourselves first at the top of the to-do list. Before you do anything for anybody else this week, each day say, before I do anything for anybody else, what is it I need? Wow, imagine how our lives would change if we did that. And it is said that be kinder to yourself and then let your kindness flood the world. Golda Peretsky, not easy to say. Do something every day that is loving towards your body and gives you the opportunity to enjoy the sensations of your body. Yeah, it's like one of the things I find about having moved is, when I was in my old house and I had Yvonne and Wade and Papa downstairs, if ever they used any of the water downstairs, it would affect my shower, either hot or cold. And it used to be, quite a game that I played to manage that. And here, what do I know? I get the water, and I cannot tell you what it's like. I literally have stood there, and I do, there's part of me that goes, I may be wasting a little bit extra water, but oh, it feels so good. Just to stand for a moment, and not just rush to get through the shower. So before the water temperature changes, this is like, oh, this is awesome. Uh, and you aren't doing nothing when you choose to put your well-being first. In fact, this is the key to having everything. Putting yourself first is the key to having everything. I think it's beautiful. Now listen to this one. Self-care is taking all the pressure you are facing right now and deciding to which you will respond to and how. I wanted to give you an example of that. And you can probably imagine that I still have an awful lot that is in my house that I could and should be moving prior to the big move. But one of the questions I asked myself, now that I've got the kitchen basically set up and the washrooms and bathrooms and laundry are all set up and working, I asked myself, how long could you camp like this and still be quite happy? Because maybe what I need to do now is go to the new place, at the old place, and start constructing boxes and huck things into boxes, bigger boxes, and not move them. Do you understand what I'm saying? That if I've got enough here now that I can survive, which I think I have done, and I'm better than surviving, I can even entertain now, as long as they don't want to drink. And it's like, think about that. Maybe I just need to go and spend time building boxes because I've got the boxes there and filling them and taping them and marking them now and just spend the next 2 weeks doing that and not worrying about moving them. Just stack them up in the kitchen if it's kitchen stuff and put the right colors on them so they'll end up, in the kitchen when they arrive here. Is that making sense to anybody? So that I only need to go up and down the stairs once, when I get there and down again when I leave. And then it's done. Plus, I don't have to empty the car every day, and I don't have to find room for everything every day. And I really thought about that last night. I wasn't sleeping well last night, and I wondered why. And I think part of it was because I was getting stressed out about how much there was still to do. And then, being who I am, I said, wait a minute. Who says that it all has to be moved by you? Who said that? Why don't you just stop moving it? Pack it, don't move it. Does that make sense? Because really, it's what I call a self-inflicted pressure that I'm putting on myself. I have enough here now that I can live quite well. I can I can get up in the morning. I can shower. I have makeup. I have, well, you wouldn't believe it, but I have, I have hair stuff. I have, you know what I mean? I've got enough. Right. Interesting. Kez, hi Kez, always good to see you. Kez is saying an Oprah show about mums not looking after themselves, but looking after everybody else. One mum ended up in hospital for 2 weeks, and now she puts herself first. Yes, I'm a great believer in, stop worrying about everybody else. Let's make sure that we're looking after us. Now, you can probably tell it's getting close to the time where I would normally probably put on a light. But I still don't have a light on in the kitchen. And, even with this light, let me turn this off for a second so you can see. Technical. Oh. Yeah, so it's very pretty, but it's not turning it off. Oh, there we go. Oh, now you're seeing me from the light from my tablet. Okay, well, that doesn't work. So there is enough time for self-care. There is not enough time to make up for the life you'll be missing by not filling yourself up. Boy, I'm going to really practice it this week, because I think if I practice it and I'm doing the vlogs on it, I think a lot of people might wake up to it as well, right? So if every trip I do, I go, one thing I need to get for myself today, before I pack anything, what's the one thing? And if I'm going to definitely start talking more about the fact that I do not need to do as much as I think I do. That's what I'm paying people for. On the good side, I must say that I took 2 major steps forward this week or yesterday. I ordered up the people to clean the house after I've got everything out of it. How many of you agree that doing that myself would be stupid? Why would I do that? Right? It's going to be heartbreaking work, and I've got enough this end. I don't need to be doing it. And they do a better job because they have no emotion about it. Jody, I am trying to find that. I keep, for some reason, hitting Fitbit instead of the countdown. All right, a couple of things as well. I don't know of any birthdays in February, so if anybody's got a birthday in February, please let us know so that we can keep track of it. We're trying to rebuild our birthday list. And we know that Beth's got a procedure this month, and Nana as well. Nana's going in to have something done to her eyes, I believe. Okay, so here we go for the countdown. We've got 10 months until American Thanksgiving. And of course, because Canada has theirs in October, not in late November, we've only got 8 months, about 8 months and 3 weeks now until ours. For those of you who celebrate Easter, you've got just 2 months to go. Actually 2 months and 2 weeks. Spring is a mere 52 days away. That is less than 2 months. I'm so excited. Daylight savings time is only 41 days away. I always think we're heading in the right direction after we do that clock thing. How about you? For those of you who celebrate Lent, you've got 1 month to work out what it is you want to give up this year. Valentine's Day is only 18 days away. Can you believe that? If you see me tilting my head, it's because the tablet it doesn't switch it on this particular thing. It's all sideways. And here's the thing that is amazing to me, is that in 16 days, for one wonderful second or two, I will be totally out of debt. Can any of you imagine what that feels like? I will have totally paid off my other place, and I will have totally paid for this one, and I will have cleared my debt. And I want to tell you that is something something I'm really looking forward to. All right, so that's a really good idea. June is saying maybe for Lent, instead of giving something up, maybe give something to somebody else, be that of your time or your talent or whatever. Think about what you can give to others, so give them the wonderful gift of your time or talent. That's a really nice idea. So I need to put the next Christmas in because we're not heading that way. So anybody else got any news that we need to be aware of that you would like to share? I wanted to let you know that we did hear from Kimmy that her husband is doing a lot better. He still has he had a stroke. He still has some work to do on his left side, but I think that's pretty normal after a stroke. So he's doing that. We did hear that Pat and Bill's brother, Pat's brother-in-law, he did pass. Last week we were talking about the fact that he was not doing very well, but he did pass, and they are coping with that loss. Did I forget anything else? Probably. If I did, it's my apologies. So basically, let us know if you have any important things that you want us to keep track of and be there in support. As I said, Erin's birthday today, and it'll be Becca's the day after tomorrow on 28th. And I just don't know of any February birthdays. I'm pretty sure we've got some, but I just don't know who they are. So if you know, let me know so we can put them in our new system. That would be awesome. And if you happen to be listening to this and you got a birthday in February, please be accountable for letting me know so that we can acknowledge you. I hate it when we don't know. All right, so what was there today that was the biggest impact for you? What did you hear that made you go, yeah, I need to listen to that one? I mean, obviously, I know what it was for me, but I wonder what it has been for you. Can each of you sort of think about that and just say, okay, fine, that is what struck me, and obviously that's what I need to hear. Because I do believe that we all need to hear different things each week. It's not any one right quote. Everybody will resonate with a different one. Right, so Jody saying the quote about putting yourself first. Yep. And it'll be interesting, Jody, if you could keep me informed on how you do with that, or any of you, if any of you going with that one. Let me know what your progress is so I can, talk about it in the vlogs. That would be awesome. I found that, as I said yesterday, when I was thinking about, no, my feet are sore, I don't think I want to do, and I went, something, I need fresh air. I need to just go out and just even walk to the mailbox. And I did, and I was so glad that I did. I felt so much better for it. And the other thing that I do now, and I didn't do it in my other place, but because I've got this huge covered deck, it allows me to open up big sliding doors and walk outside and just take in fresh air, regardless of whether it's raining. I don't need to put on a coat. It's wonderful. And, just literally spend a couple of minutes breathing in fresh air and letting fresh air into the house. Jody, you had you had good reason to let fresh air into your house yesterday, I believe. Lionel did something we all relate to. He put something into the oven to cook and forgot to take the plastic top off the top. I mean, when I read that, Jody, it was a plastic cake pan top. You know, when I read that, I went, oh gosh, we've all done it. You know, we've all done our version of that. And the smell of, melting plastic is not good. So you voluntarily pulled in a lot of fresh air into your places today. It was God's way of saying it's time to ventilate, Jody. But I'm quite surprised how much I enjoy that time now. I'm making it part of my routine. Just not for a long time, but literally to open up a door or open up a window and just let the air in, even though it is cold. Jody's saying that smell was putrid. That's such a great word. Putrid is, I don't know, I love that word to bits. So I'm going to get back to cooking what's smelling absolutely wonderful. I am still, by the way, working at emptying my pantry and fridge. I don't know if any of you have been watching this, but I realize I have got so much stuff and my fridge here is now full. My freezer is better than full. And I still have a third of my freezer sitting at the other house. And so what I've said is that every day I need to eat from my freezer. So normally I would have gone out and bought fresh vegetables for this evening's meal. And I went, I'm not going to do that. It'll just be more to go, in the fridge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull frozen vegetables and I'm going to use them. And if somebody doesn't like it, so be it. I will explain what I'm doing. Well, I wanted to, Jody's saying, awesome job, Sal. You are inspiring in how you are handling this move. Love the planning of each step. Well, I have been taking one step at a time. And, I keep bringing more for the freezer, as you know, every day. But then when I get here, I go, okay, there's this much that has to go in. What are you taking out? Because you haven't got room to put this in. So, are the frozen vegetables more important to you than the meat? Because something has to go. And, I just am playing that catch-up game. And because of that, I found I'm eating more vegetables with my meals. What did I have last night? I can't remember what I had last night, but it was, it was just, that's right. I found a packet of instant rice type stuff, what do you call it? Chinese rice, a packet of Chinese rice that obviously has been in my pantry for a long time. And I went, okay, you're using that up. But I hucked in a lot of frozen vegetables in it. I also, you remember the Scotch eggs that I made the other week? I had defrosted a couple of those. I decided to take those out of the freezer and defrost them. And what I did is I actually chopped them up, egg and meat, protein, both of them, and I mixed it in with the Chinese rice. And then had the vegetables. So, it actually ended up being a really tasty meal. I was quite surprised. I added a few bits and pieces in there to make it taste even better. But it actually worked really well, and I have enough for one more meal out of it, and it's still some rice left over. So every week I will be having a rice day. Uncle Ben's 90-second rice. Yeah, it was Uncle Ben's, and it's I think it's called Fast and Fun or something Chinese. I could dig out the packet if you like, but obviously I'd had it for years. So it was time. It's got to get used, and so be it. Now, for those of you who heard the stories about Mickey and Minnie, I do want to update you on that. I found that having these motion detectors on the floor in the kitchen have really helped. And also, I have taken every space that has a hole in it. And until I can get the squidgy stuff that I want to put firm around all those openings, I've put press and seal. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Where's the press and seal? You know, this stuff. That stuff too. But what I realized was, because it is sticky, I could put it against things and wrap it around and it would hold. And then what I also realized, if Mickey and Minnie came to visit, they stuck their nose on there and it was sticky, they probably wouldn't like it as much. Now you're going to ask me, what am I going to do with this bit? I'm just going to put it inside here until I need it. It's now in the cupboard. But I'll put it in the cupboard that has the press and seal normally. So, but between the two of those, and I also put some of it sticky side up inside the underneath the sink, which is where I think they were coming. Because I reckoned I'd see very quickly if they'd come in that way. So, because it wouldn't be flat anymore, you know, the stickiness would make it move. So at the moment, it seems to be working, and I didn't have to use anything toxic and nasty, and I have managed to discourage them without killing them, which was what I wanted. So I'm hoping that it works, and if it does, I found a really interesting way to get rid of mice, which is light. And you know, the LEDs that we have today are so bright, and they, you know, the motion ones are so good that I think it scared the living daylights. You could use press and seal on your bathroom window. Why would I want it on my bathroom window, Kaz? But I'm thinking I could use it in my bedroom window so the neighbors can't see me in the washroom. That's the biggest challenge I've had. You know, I've lived for 20 years where I could walk into my bathroom and not close the door. And suddenly I have windows that look into my bedroom and bathroom. And I'm going, that's going to have to change. You know? But I'm working on that one. But you're quite right. Press and seal would do it. Interesting. I might do a test run of that and see how it works. Yeah, I could get the creases out of that if I really worked hard. Yeah. So thank you. I really appreciate that thought. I definitely, and that one window as well. Yeah. And you know, I wouldn't need it for the whole of it. I just need it for the bit, you know, sort of like this much of it. I could just do. Very good idea, Kez. I'll try that. I don't know how long it would stay up, but there's only one way to find out, right? Can't wait to do that experiment. Kez, you are a star. Jody, can you make a note that I need to thank Kez for it when I do it? Because you know I will be doing it, but probably not until later in the week. Brilliant idea. Thank you. So I'm off to cook now. And I hope you all put yourself number one for a week. All right, see what happens. Do you think you can do that? When you get up in the morning, you go, before I do anything for anybody else, what one thing am I going to do for myself? And I will try and hold myself accountable. That I will make a point of doing one thing a day just for me, not for moving, not for whatever, but just to help me. And let's see how many people we can inspire by doing that. Let me have your stories, if you can. You know, if you do anything and it really worked for you and you feel good about it or whatever, either write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, leave notes in Facebook or at the bottom of this video as well. That also works. Yeah, it's so nice to have you all here on Soul Sunday and any other day. I really love it. We've been doing this for some time, and I think the interesting thing is that you probably can feel as I do. To me, you are so much part of my life now, and that it is wonderful. I feel really badly, quite honestly, if I can have a little reflection moment. Somebody said to me, we're really glad that I was doing the vlogs again because they really missed them. My drive ones that I used to do, for example. And I remember saying that, really the reason I didn't do any was I didn't think my life was interesting enough anymore. And, then I realized that maybe it is a little bit more than just, is my life interesting? I think you guys appreciate it when I just talk about what's happening, and that you can see that it's happening to me the same as it happens to you. And, the things I do to try and circumvent these things. And so I've sort of changed my thinking a little bit. It's 37 degrees there in Maine. I think we've got a heat wave going on at the moment, just so that you know, Jean. Let me just check here. I'm pretty sure we've got a heat wave going on. Let me change it into American. Yeah, it's we've got 50 outside at the moment. So after the temperature, the minus 12, that was, it's 40 in New Hampshire. Yeah, so we're just a little bit warmer than you, but because of the weather that we had, it feels really balmy. Do you know what I mean? It feels like, wow, this is. Yeah, I keep going out without a coat on because I'm only out for a quick second and it's fine. Could I make toast? Oh, I could make toast and it'd be interesting. Do you know how I make toast, Jody, these days? You're right, it would be interesting because I make it on my crepe maker. And by the way, there's no doubt in my mind that crepe maker makes the best omelets I have ever had in my life. They're even better than the ones that Benji makes. It's just like, I cannot believe that I can cook an omelet like that. So that's it. I got to get out of here. I got people, haven't I? All right. So look after one another, but most of all this week, right? That's your goal. This week, put yourself first. See what happens. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me on Soul Sunday. And what should I do first? Should I turn off the lights in the house first? Yeah, there we go. And then I would say bye-bye for now.